thank you very much for having me back to definition, you guys. Nice to see you all again. And the added cheer squad over here. As long as you haven't got that's right, 7, 4, 6. Nice to see you all. So thank you again for having me here. I have to apologise for the voice. I'm just getting over a little bit of bronchitis, so it's hanging in there, but I've got my 2 glasses of water, so I do apologise if I'm coughing part way through. We're going to start with a game. So for this game, you need to be in pairs, all right? So find a bit of a friend or someone that you want to just say hello to. And the rules state in this game that only one person can talk at a time. And the other person has to listen, Tom, okay? So decide who's number 1 and who's number 2 in your pair. Don't have a fight. All right, for the first round, number 2, you are doing the talking, and number 1, you are listening. Okay, number 2, you're in a lift. The lift stops and in walks number 1. You are travelling between level 1 and level 9, and it'll take about 12 seconds. 12 seconds. Got my timer ready. Hang on a second. Okay, nearly there. Clock. Right. Stopwatch. Okay, 12 seconds to travel to level 9. Number 2, you must explain to number 1 what an apple is. Okay? Number 1, you have no idea, and you have to explain what an apple is, what it looks like, and what you do with it. Okay, you've got 12 seconds. Ready? Go. Stop. All right. Number 2, it's your turn to talk. Number 1. Sorry. Thank you. I got so confused with myself when I was writing this, you wouldn't believe. I'm going number 1, number 2. Number 1, that's right. It's your turn to talk. This time you're in the lift and in walks number 2, and you're going between level 9 and level 33, and you've got 35 seconds. Wait on. Number 1, you must explain how to put up a tent to number 2. Now, number two, you've no idea what a tent is. Listen for how well they explain. Number 2 is relying on you, number 1, because they've just brought the tent home and they have no idea what to do with it. You've got 35 seconds, go. We're nearly there. Stop. Okay, I wonder how you're going. I wonder if the tents will stay upright or whether they fall down. Remember, number 2 is relying on you. All right, back to number 2, last round of the game. You all right, guys? This time you're in the lift, number 2, and number 1 walks in, and you're travelling between level 12 and 25, and it's going to take 19 seconds. And remember that number 2 is relying on you, number 1. So you have... number 1 is relying on number 2. It's very important that you're very clear and very precise. You've got 19 seconds and you have to explain what a penzigot is. Go.
I don't know what that is.
A penzigot. Go.
What's a penzigot?
Stop. Okay. I wonder what it was like trying to explain information, knowing that the receiver was relying on you and how good you were explaining your information. I wonder what it was like for you as the receiver of the information, knowing you were relying on that information. How did it feel when you did not have clear information to pass on to your partner? How did you feel when you did not know anything about that item? And how did it feel when the person you were listening to didn't have a clue either? I want you to think about those things, but I'm going to leave that for the moment. I want you to have a little bit of a think for a few minutes about what concerns you. What are the issues that are important to you at the moment as an individual and also around Australia and around the world? Just have a little think about that. What's really important for you in your life? It might be something really good, or it might be something that's getting you down. What are the issues? What are the concerns? Mission Australia is an organisation whose founding purpose reads, "Inspired by Jesus Christ, Mission Australia exists to meet human need and spread the knowledge of the love of God." They deal with homelessness and social housing, alcohol and drug dependency, families and children, employment, skills and training, youth, mental wellbeing and disability support. I reckon they must be pretty busy. Each year, Mission Australia surveys young people aged 15 to 19 to find out their key issues of concern and their hopes for the future. It's the largest nationwide poll in Australia of young Australians. And I wonder if any of those issues that came up in the 2015 poll are the same as what you were thinking. They're also having the 2016 poll right at the moment, and you can go on their website. And as I say, it's an interesting poll because it's the largest that they have of young people. And I think we should listen to the voice of our young people. So now this is where we get technical, because they said I can be in control. That's fun, isn't it? Oh, there we go. So that's the cover of, I'm not quite sure where to stand here, now that you're all over there as well. But that's the cover of the Youth Survey report for last year. And this is the survey results for 2015. So if we have a look up here on this side, oh, this is fun. Am I on your way? Am I on your way? Yes, I am. I can tell by the look on his face. Okay, so we can see that the top three concerns are stress, school and body image. I wonder if any of you had those in some of your concerns. Alcohol and drugs was the most important issue in Australia today for the first time. 1 in 4 people indicated that equity and discrimination was an issue of national importance, and 1 in 5 young people highlighted the economy and financial matters was a key issue in Australia today. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? I'll look at the things that were bothering our 15 to 19-year-olds. So this led me to wonder, as just sort of like a juxtaposition of that, what would people in their 50 to 60 age group say were their key issues? Whether they mirror some of the people that have responded there. So I conducted a little survey of my own, and I emailed some people and I asked them to respond. Now this is nothing like whatever it was. How many was it? 18,994 respondents. because I don't have that many friends. So I got 8 respondents out of my 15 or so emails, but it is interesting. It still gives us a little snapshot of what people are thinking about. So the top 3 concerns were equality of resources, climate change, and asylum seekers, refugees. Cohesion and inclusion was the most important issue, and the issues of national importance included asylum seekers. Oh, that's an interesting way of spelling asylum seekers. Violence, justice, fairness, resources, and Aborigines. So if we put the 2 together, oh no, there we go. If we put the 2 together, we're looking at things like stress and body image. We're looking at equality and discrimination. We're looking at climate change, justice and fairness. Anybody have any of those issues that they were thinking of? Yes? No? So I think it's quite an interesting thing to consider. What is in the minds of people that's worrying them and bothering them? And there's significant issues for our society to live through. Just turn that. Can I turn that off, Jacob? Or no? There we go. Okay. So our society likes to think that it can handle these kind of issues. And individuals often try to alleviate their concerns by taking a band-aid approach. They cover up their problems and try to find happiness in more material things, like buying lots of stuff, or the best car, or the biggest house. Others may find the issues too consuming and too difficult to deal with and turn to alcohol, drugs, gambling, or other pastimes. Issues and concerns can get people caught down, causing depression and anger, and thoughts can turn inwards, and people can become self-consumed, putting themselves first. Some governments, perhaps feeling overwhelmed by all these issues, react with bitterness or force or incite hatred. Other people may turn to counselling or self-help, more positive steps. Yoga, relaxation, getting fit, eating better, taking a holiday, or setting up a community to focus on a particular issue. Amongst all of this, it seems to me that the fashionable thinking is that religion is irrelevant. It's not relevant. Society asks, what could religion possibly have to do with all of your problems or all of your concerns? What would religion have to do with anger or stress or depression or lack of body image or alcohol or equality of resources, including our money and our infrastructure, our education, the way we care for each other, our health? Well, I do believe that Christianity, which is the religion I know, is relevant for our society facing all of those issues. I do believe that Christianity is relevant for you facing your day-to-day issues and concerns. But let's test its relevancy. Let's compare the key issues and concerns of society today with those at the time of Jesus. Now, we can't survey those people right now. I can't send them an email. But I reckon we can use history and the Bible to help us have an understanding of what some of the key issues were. So have a little think in your mind of what you know of the Bible and what you know of the time of Jesus, and see whether you think that these kind of things are fair for me to have put up there. I've concluded that the people in Jesus' time would have been pretty stressed. Do you reckon that's fair? There was a lot of tyrannical rule leading to oppression. So the people would have been stressed because they were pushed into a corner by the government of the day. We know from the Bible that they often tried to walk away from that oppression. We only have to read the stories of the Old Testament to know that they moved about, they were trying to find a new beginning. I've also written cohesion and inclusion, I reckon would have been a top concern. People weren't included with each other, they weren't cohesive, they didn't get on very well with each other. Self-image, well, a lot of people, as we know from the Bible, were sick, they had disease, and they were discriminated against. They didn't like each other a lot. People in the Bible were separated into different groups, and they didn't like each other. There was a lot of discrimination. There was, of course, discrimination against women as well. And the important issues, the intertwining of religion and politics, certainly wasn't clear. It was all mashed all together. Refugees, justice and fairness, equity and discrimination, standard of living, education and financial matters. Do you think they're all fair? Scholars of the Bible? So, just putting it all together, we've got a whole lot of problems. And I think that those problems there are similar to the problems that we have today. Even though that, there we go. Even though that was 2,000 years ago, I think there's a lot of problems and issues today. And into that world there, Jesus came. And what did he do? The first thing he did was he reacted to and responded to all the issues and all the concerns. So for me, the Christianity is not relevant theory, simply doesn't add up. We can see straight away that there are concerns and issues across 2,000 years ago that are also present today. Can you take that off for me? Thanks, Kate. So with this, there's a bit of a catch. There's always a bit of a catch. We need to ask, how is our society, our young families, our people, our older people, going to know that Christianity is relevant to them today with all of their concerns, with all of your concerns, unless we tell them? To tell the good news, we need to be informed. Remember how hard it was to communicate in the lift what a penzigot was? Because guess what? It's nothing. It's made up. But you didn't know what it was. It's hard to communicate when you don't know what something is, and it's harder to communicate also when you're trying to listen and the person doesn't know what it is. You had no idea. You could not pass on the information. Remember how easy it was to communicate in the lift what an apple was. You knew what it was. You knew how to describe it. And remember how frustrated you were when you wanted to know what a penzigot was and the person didn't know either. Informed communication is pivotal. Pivotal, is that the word? Pivotal. Sounds weird. We live in a world where we have more methods of communication than ever before. We can reach millions of people instantaneously at Facebook page. Our communication needs to be clear. You guys are the great communicators. You are all in the communication generation. You communicate messages in, 140, is it? On 140 characters? 160. So you've got a little bit more time you can message. 160 characters. You communicate all the time. You tell stories, you tell ideas, you tell visions, you tell thoughts. It seems to me that many of us in the church are still concerned ourselves with the small and insignificant issues. We have no clear message to the world about all of these concerns, about your concerns. Jesus' message has got lost behind all the froth and all the bubble of whatever the church is. Jesus' message needs to be clear and succinct, like the Apple message. It needs to be understood. A young friend said to me on Friday night, she asked me what was I doing on the weekend, and I told her that I was going to be here. And she said, Christianity's got lost behind it. No, sorry, Christianity has got really fuzzy. They were her words. A young person who's in her early 20s who doesn't go to church anymore. She said to me, it's just got really fuzzy. We need to teach the teachings of Jesus, his preaching of compassion, forgiveness and love, his defence of the poor and oppressed, his genuine concern for the issues of the day, and of course the love of God in a really clear way. Will you guys, because you're the communicators, take this on? Will you clearly tell the world how Jesus is relevant to them in 160 characters? And maybe the hashtag could be, the world needs to know. A couple of weeks ago, those who attended State Youth Games spoke here about their experiences. And I was interested to hear Kate speak of her connection with young people at State Youth Games. She spoke of the young people becoming aware that they, in their everyday lives, can rely on God. I was struck by the reality of that. The young people were becoming aware that they can rely on God. What an awakening for those people. What fantastic news. What a gift from God to them via you at State Youth Games. Hashtag the world needs to know. Hashtag you can rely on God. And if you're here tonight wondering if God has any relevance in your world and with your concerns and your issues, I can assure you that he does. Hand your issues and your concerns over to him, and he will influence your life more than you can ever imagine. And if you're here tonight having experienced God's love, when you have relied on him, remember, God is relying on you to share his love. Okay, so you're back in the lift. This time you're travelling to the top of the Eureka Tower. In the super fast lift, it only takes 33 seconds to get to the top. Two people are in the lift discussing a major problem, a major concern. When one states, well, I'm certainly not going to pray about my problems. What would some God know about them? Yes, says the other. No, religion is totally irrelevant anyway. And just one last final slide. Thank you. That's probably a little difficult to read from up there, is it? Yeah. What I've done here is I've put a few Bible readings there about how Jesus spoke to people about concerns. We recognised that back in the time of Jesus, there were similar concerns to what we have today. For stress, I've just thought about the parables that he spoke about. Do not worry. Ask, seek, knock. The wise and the foolish builders. And Jesus said, therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. How did he handle cohesion and inclusion and equity and discrimination? He said to us, love your enemies. He told the parable of the tenants, the Good Samaritan, and the parable of the lost son. And he said to us, be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. There is no longer Jew or Greek, slave or free, male or female, for all of you are one in Jesus Christ. But many who are first will be last, and the last first. So he spoke to us about cohesion and inclusion and equity and discrimination. What did Jesus say about self-image? Well, how many times did he heal those who were feeling so bad about themselves that they were downtrodden, they were hidden, they were at the gate of the wall, they were just pushed aside because of their illness? He healed so many sick. He anointed a sinful woman, and he met the woman at the well and spoke with her. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear, for life is more than food, and the body more than clothes. And he also said to love your neighbour as yourself. And what did he say of economy and finance? He told us the parable of the rich and the kingdom of God, and also of the widow's offering. And he said, for it is the one who is least among you who is the greatest. And a kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, and a house divided against itself will fall. So Jesus had much to say and much to deal and do with the problems and concerns. And he has much to say and much to do and deal with your concerns and your problems. So if someone was in that lift with you and they said, well, I'm certainly not going to pray about my problems, what would some God know about them? Yes, says the other one. No, religion is totally irrelevant today anyway. What would your response be? And how would you effectively communicate the relevancy of Jesus and God today? Remember, God is relying on you. But the best piece of news is that you can rely on God. Thank you.